Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from TheRightTrader.com here, back today with another daily crypto update. In this video, I'm going to be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vergecoin, Monero, Omisigo, and Lisk. All of those in a more detailed technical analysis on TradingView. In just a second, I'm also going to be covering Verge today because it's breaking out. Other than that, let's get right into the general market and altcoin update. So what's been going on in the past couple hours? Well, Bitcoin has been doing pretty well, now above 7,500 and still doing good, still uptrending as expected, right? Now, like I said, I do expect some kind of a pullback to happen before the fork because it's been going up pretty drastically now, and more money, flowing out of the altcoins and into Bitcoin. As you can see, a lot of red here in the top 10 for many of the altcoins. Now, what's good to see is it's relatively tame and, it's getting less and less bad for a lot of the altcoins out there. You can see that they're just down slightly, maybe around 1%. So it's nothing like 5%, like a couple days ago, which is good to see because obviously that does create some panic. And things are stabilizing a bit. And as far as some big movers today, Komodo is having a pretty good day, up around 6% in the past 24 hours. This is a cryptocurrency that I've been bullish on. And otherwise, I'd like to point out Vergecoin unfortunately dropping a bit more here. Now, like I said, Verge is having a good day, having a bit of a breakout, up around 20% in the past 24 hours. And it's been doing pretty good actually for a couple days now, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, we have our good old Grostal coin that's actually taking a bit of a hit today. Let's see. Yeah, down 23%. So this one, kind of like Vergecoin, it got such a massive increase that it's now getting a little bit of a breather. So it's obviously taking a bit of a hit, but overall, I'm not too concerned about it. Other than that, let's get right into our technical analysis here, starting off with Verge for today. And by the way, Verge, what do I think of Verge? I see some people asking me that. And I've made a price prediction video on it, so if you want to check that out, it's in my price predictions playlist. I always have a link to, all these videos in the description and in the comment section below, so definitely go check that out. But I did make a video on Verge, and, just to recap, my general consensus on it was, if I'm not mistaken, that, there's some things, fundamentally and stuff that I don't really like about Verge. Now, I'm not like completely bearish on it, but it's just that, yeah, I do have some concerns with it. With that being said, though, I did point out in this video, if I remember correctly, that I did like the price action. I can't argue with the uptrend, and that I did think it would go higher in the short term, and that seems to be what's happening right now. So let me just go ahead and draw a couple points for you. So first off, we have obviously our uptrend line. That's going to be, our main support level here. And what really happened today was a very nice, breakout. Now, obviously, like I said, it's been doing pretty good for a couple days now. Bounced off this uptrend line, started moving back up on all indicators. Here, all the indicators are actually looking really good, right? We have the Bollinger Bands expanding, so it could be actually a pretty big run like we had over here. And MACD looking good, histogram looking good, really, spiking up. Over here on the RSI, we are, of course, uptrending, and we broke above the 70 line, which is a bullish signal. Sorry, that's a very bullish signal, actually. And that's usually, when breakouts happen, this is very typical. So break above the 70 line, that's definitely a buy signal, basically, if you're a short-term trader at least, and still has more room to go higher. Now, what do I think is going to happen here in the short term? Well, of course, I want to see it hold above this breakout level, which was the high over here. So it is actually making new all-time highs right now. And so that's blue sky breakout territory, which means that there's no previous resistance levels on the actual chart here. Let me see, it'll be a bit easier to see, but on this chart. But yeah, as you can see, we're making new all-time highs here. And we broke out of this resistance levels that was, let's see, 0.0085. So definitely want to see it, close and hold above that on this candlestick. And if it fails that, that would be a little bit of a double top, so that would not be a good sign. But right now, it's looking pretty good, and it seems like it has quite a bit of strength. So I think it can definitely hold. And how much higher will it move after that? Of course, it's hard to say because, like I said, there's no previously set resistance levels. But with that being said, I do expect it to definitely move a bit higher because, like I said, the indicators are looking good, and it's still just the beginning of this breakout over here. So, I guess you could just kind of compare it to this one over here where you saw how much it moved once it broke out, and, it was pretty decent. Nice little gap there, so I would expect a gap of maybe a similar size. And, right now it's at 0.008. Maybe it'll reach 0.009, maybe 0.01. So we'll have to see, but I think that it will move up higher in the short term for Verge. And yeah, it's been getting some good traction here, keeping up with the uptrend. So no real bad signs here as far as, chart goes, technical analysis, price action. Everything is looking pretty good for Verge. Other than that, let's get right into our normal schedule here, starting off with Bitcoin. Like I said, Bitcoin's still doing really good. And, it's been keeping up, trading above the Bollinger Band here. So let me just move my uptrend line. And actually, I'll zoom in for you because I'm kind of zoomed out right now. Let's see. So as you can see, it's trading above the Bollinger Band. And I've been mentioning this in my previous daily crypto updates, but this is very hard to sustain. Now, obviously, all the money is going into Bitcoin, right, because of the upcoming fork. That's around November 16th. So that's why it's sustaining this. But this just can't be sustained, forever. That's the bottom line. And it is making higher lows and higher highs, which is good to see, right? Now, if I put back my little uptrend line, it's been a very, very sharp uptrend right now that it's holding perfectly, which is good to see, right? It really means that the strength is there. Now, the question is, when is it going to flip, right? And I think we're going to see that relatively soon. Like I said, I do expect at least a little dip before the fork. But, it's hard to say because this thing has really been taking off. But if we look at the volume, right, I mentioned this in my previous video, and I'm not someone who trains all that much based on volume, and I think I'm going to make a tutorial on volume trading because, that's a topic of interest. But what we can see here is that the volume has been dropping as the, Bitcoin has been going up. And that means that buyers are, becoming, there's less and less buyers despite the fact that it's moving up. So the volume is dropping. And what this means usually is that we'll have a reversal, right? As the volume gets lower, we'll finally get a red day and then get a bit of a pullback. So the volume is indicative of that we will get a pullback. We're tapering off a bit on the RSI. But like I said, there's just a lot of strength in Bitcoin. So if it can keep, moving upwards, that's definitely fully possible and reasonable with these circumstances. It's just that it can't go on like this forever, right? And, a little bit of a smaller candlestick today, we'll really just have to wait and see if it's going to get a pullback, like I said, right? I think it would only be healthy at this point, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Now, let's move over to basically not all that much to say on Bitcoin. It's, like I said, doing really good, but we'll just have to see when it breaks out of this uptrend here. Moving over to Ethereum now. Let's see what's been going on with that one. And so this chart is a mess. The reason why I'm keeping it like this is just because it puts a lot of, we get a lot of signals from all these all the things that I've drawn here, and let me delete some of these because it is getting messy. But basically what we have going on here is this little inner triangle that we're in right now, okay? And like I said, kind of expect it to bounce in here now for a while. Ethereum holding up relatively well, to be quite honest. It's back holding near the, I mean, it's kind of testing that today, but it's holding this sort of 295 area, which is a pretty big area of support over here. There's a lot of previous candlesticks that created, a nice little, support area for Ethereum. Now, could we dip below that? Of course, we can really come and test this uptrend line. I'm not really too worried about Ethereum right now. It's acting pretty well considering the weakness in the altcoin market. Now, obviously, I don't expect it to really get some kind of breakout until the Bitcoin fork, but it's holding, better than most, I would say. And on the indicator levels, everything is looking pretty good as well. So it would be nice to see it hold this 295 level. If it doesn't and it tests this uptrend line, if it bounces off that, that's fine too. But now the one thing that may cause a little bit of, trouble for Ethereum and would kind of just be annoying for anyone who's holding Ethereum, is the fact that these Bollinger Bands are really getting contracted now. So that's going to create a very range-bound, type of pattern, and could become pretty range-bound, like Monero for a while. I'm not a big fan of that type of price action. It's not necessarily a bad or a good thing. It's just a bit annoying, and yeah, it doesn't really leave much opportunity for traders, at least. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But right now, still in this inner triangle, we'll just have to wait and see where it'll make a more clear decision, right? Probably after the hard fork of Bitcoin. Moving over to Litecoin now. Okay, Litecoin, doji candlestick here. So I guess this is actually a bit of a bullish candlestick, considering the price action here, where I think that this is just, Litecoin trying to hold this level of around $55. So it is doing that today. The MACD is actually looking pretty good, kind of flattening out. Could get a little bit of a crossover here soon. And RSI recovering a little bit range bound, but, at least moving slightly upward, it seems like. So that's better than already, just a couple days ago where it was just crashing down. Obviously a good thing. Now, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Litecoin bounce between this downtrend line, which is this pink line right here, and this blue line right over here, right? So kind of move downwards like this, and then maybe break out of that and get some more room to move upwards after the Bitcoin hard fork, right? Otherwise, what we could also see it do, if it has enough strength, is just break through this downtrend line right over here and just kind of get range bound, like Ethereum. The Bollinger Bands are contracting as well on this one, so that is something to be aware of moving forward. Let's move over now to Ripple. Ripple really kind of giving a lot of signals here in the past couple days, but let's see what's been going on. Now, a little bit of a red day for Ripple. Still very range bound. As you can see, I drew these two black lines to show the range that it's in. And, it's funny because as far as the indicators go, things are looking pretty well, right? We almost have a crossover on the histogram. The MACD is about to cross over, basically crossing over right now, with the blue line moving above the orange line. And this is a very powerful signal, right? With a very, a big hook here on the MACD. RSI looks like it's moving upwards, wants to come back into the uptrending, this uptrend line here. Now, the problem is that there's just a lot of resistance for Ripple right now. There's, of course, this upper resistance line of, around 21 cents. Then we have this, the upper Bollinger Band that's coming in, this brown line, the middle band, that's currently at 20 cents. That's creating some resistance, as you can see. And it's being supported currently by this uptrend line. Now, as you can see, it's testing it quite a lot, right? And the more times it tests it, the more likely it is to actually fail and break. Now, I honestly expect Ripple to kind of just remain in this range, right? It might move higher like this into this range, and that would obviously be more bullish, or it'll just move flat and break through this uptrend line and just remain flat like this, right? That's possible as well, but I'd say it's going to be one of those two things right now. And same thing until the Bitcoin hard fork. So we'll just have to wait and see. At least it has some nice support off this uptrend line, though, which is good to see. Moving over to NEO now. Let's see. A little bit of a red day for NEO. Now, at least it's slightly above. It's kind of in and testing the downtrend line over here, but it managed to kind of break itself out of that. So we're not really in the symmetrical triangle pattern anymore, and it's kind of getting some support off this downtrend line, in fact. So that's actually good to see. Now, actually, let me just, it could be a little more strict with this and place it like that. But, what do I expect it to do here? Well, same thing. Bollinger Bands are very tight. The candlesticks are not great in the past 2 days. It looks like we might see a little bit of a collapse, but for now it's holding. It's still holding, and I think either we're going to see some consolidation, or we can see a little bit more of a drop to this lower level of near $21. Now, unfortunately, we're about to break, it seems, the uptrend line on the histogram. RSI not really looking that great. We've got to bounce off the 40 line here previously, but not really telling us much. It's hard to say what's going to be happen to NEO right now, to be honest. What it looks like, though, like I said, is just some range-bound price action. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in a horizontal support line right around here, because that might definitely be a hard area for it to break. So if it can bounce off that, that'd be a pretty good sign. And as you can see, you know, it has quite a few candlesticks that give some support in this, let's see, what is this, $24 area, plus the uptrend line that's coming back in. I should actually extend this. This is actually going to be a pretty important sign moving into the future here, but that's going to be this line right here. See if it can hold off that. That would actually make it be able to move a bit upwards and maybe test these higher ranges near $33. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. Go ahead and put that resistance level in just to make things a bit more clear. And yeah, that would actually be the bullish case scenario here, is that it just kind of trends upwards on this uptrend line and manages to get itself closer to that $33 area, which is really the area that we want to see it get to for a, you know, a bit of a breakout to, you know, its highs basically. So still, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Bitcoin hard fork still, you know, wreaking havoc and creating some damage here in the altcoin market, unfortunately. But like I said, you know, that might be a buying opportunity when things bounce after the Bitcoin hard fork in the altcoin market. Vergecoin here, a pretty strong pullback, down about 8%. Like I've told you all, I expect Vergecoin to, you know, bounce off this red support line right here, which is at $3.30, and also in between. So basically, in between this $3.30 level up until this $4.85, this pink support line level right over here. Now, it's fully doing that right now, and we got a bit of a bounce. It didn't really bounce that much off the middle band, which isn't the best sign, but bounced nicely, and it's now completely above that, so that really doesn't matter quite all that much. But it bounced off this $3.30 area pretty well, so, you know, that makes sense. Now, let's see, actually I'm going to move this up just a tad here. That'll make more sense. Like I said, just expect this one to have some weakness and consolidate for a while now. It could take a couple weeks before it gets some more serious, you know, bullish traction, just because it's gone up so much, and all the hard fork stuff going on with Bitcoin is not going to help Vergecoin right now. So kind of just expect it to take a bit of a breather here. We definitely want to see it hold this $3.30 area. If it does happen to break below that, you know, we'll probably move lower. Now, what you have to remember is Vergecoin has quite a lot of fans now, and people will buy up these lower levels, as you saw here, right when it dipped near, what was this, $2.68. It really did get bought up, so that's going to be a pretty hard level to break through. And, you know, I expect it to hold relatively well. Probably a good area to accumulate Vergecoin, in my opinion. This isn't financial advice, that's just my opinion. But that could definitely be in a, you know, this whole phase right here of consolidation that it might see in the next couple of weeks could really be a great time to accumulate some Vergecoin. So let's move over to Monero now. This has been the range-bound king, staying true to its name today as well. Really flat doji candlestick over here, and the Bollinger Band's getting extremely tight now. You can see, I mean, this is kind of ridiculous almost. Indicators obviously not giving us any signs because they're flat as well. So here, same thing, you know, I really can't say what's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait and see. Is it going to break to the downside or the upside? But for now, more consolidation is expected, I would say. Coming over to Omise Go now. Let me know if you want me to add any cryptocurrencies to this list or maybe remove any. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. But Omise Go, a little bit of a down day today. Now, you know, it's getting a little bit of a support level that's getting put in now. So that's good to see. It'll definitely be some added, you know, just an added level where you can hold above. Of course, the real support is going to be here at this black line at $5.36. We'll see if it can hold that. I think it'd probably come back and test that line over here. And yeah, hopefully we can see it bounce off that a bit. If it doesn't, though, we will probably move lower near this $3.60 area if it breaks below that. So we'll just have to wait and see if it can actually hold and sustain above that $5.36 area. but you know, still downtrending on the RSI pretty badly, so not looking great for Omisego, but you know, it's sustaining itself at least. And now final cryptocurrency of this daily crypto update, as per usual, that's going to be Lisk. Now this chart is getting messy as well, but basically it tested the downtrend line, the uptrend line as well actually, but so much support, like I said, in this area for Lisk that it's just too hard to break through in my opinion, and that's what happened today. So it kind of failed that, moved a bit lower. Now it did bounce near the low of yesterday. So what do I expect with Lisk? Kind of like Verge, I think Lisk will probably, you know, bounce between this blue line and this this pink line right over here, moving a bit lower, and then break out where it'll have a bit more space to move upwards. What we could also see, like Litecoin, is, you know, just break through this downtrend line and kind of trade around here, so around this $5.50 area. But with the weakness in the market and everything, I kind of expect it to move lower, in fact, in the short term, before getting maybe a bounce. So that's kind of what I see happening for Lisk here. And, you know, this kind of makes me think that we might see yet another pretty big drop in the altcoin market here until the fork is over, where Lisk could maybe even come down and test back this $3.60. Once again, that would be a double bottom, which would be a good sign, though, if it bounces off that. And definitely could see that happening with the weakness in the altcoin market. But otherwise, with that being said, this concludes my daily crypto update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to leave a like and subscribe. I thank you for watching, and have a great day.